Alright then lads, it's the wrap up. It is the wrap-up, which of course is brought to you by the Anfield Wrap, the award-winning Anfield Wrap. And we've just been nominated for another award, Club Podcast of the Year. A few other podcasts in the running, but that's from the Football Supporters Federation. As I say, that will be the 4th time we've won something with them if we win that one, but we'll find out next month about that. But just wanted to kick it off by saying thanks very much for everyone who watches these videos, listens to our podcast, reads our stuff, supports us on social media, all that kind of thing. We've been doing this now since 2011 and we couldn't do any of it without your support. But right now it is of course international break. Bit boring if you ask me this time of the football season, with Josh Sexton to talk about being bored by this part of the football season, but also to laugh a little bit, laugh or cry, I'm not sure, at Craig Hannon. The Anfield Wrap's Craig Hannon went all the way out to Belfast to watch his beloved Northern Ireland, and they were completely robbed in the game against Switzerland by a dodgy ref. Let's be honest, I think I can call him that. That's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. It's not a penalty. It's like this fella's never played football or watched a game of football. The fella doesn't do anything wrong and he gives a penalty. What's going on?
It's quite ironic really. I was thinking about this on the way into work because Craig's obviously been quick to like jump on shows in the past and laugh at the Thierry Henry handball against the Republic of Ireland, and now it seems that handball may well deny Northern Ireland from getting into the World Cup.
Bit you on the arse that, didn't it, Hannon? Okay, the Reds then, let's talk about that. I mean, what we've been doing this week on the podcast is reviewing the Reds revival, 3 wins of course, a good result against West Ham. And now, you know, when we all went into this international break feeling a little bit better, didn't we, let's be honest. But what's going to happen now is that Liverpool have got a very, very hectic schedule. 9 games in less than a month, which is quite mad when you think about it. Those 9 games are Southampton at home, which is next Saturday the 18th, Seville away, then Chelsea home, Stoke away, Brighton away, Spartak home, Everton home, West Brom home, and then Bournemouth away on the 17th of December. That is one hectic fixture list. But what it means, Josh, I think, is that, you know, there's been lots of debate, hasn't there, about who should be in the first 11, about certain positions. So you've had the, you know, should Robertson be in ahead of Moreno? Should Chamberlain be starting, given the amount of money we paid for him? I think all those sort of conversations quite quickly are going to die away, because all of these lads, all the lads who are fit and ready to play, are going to get a game in that run, aren't they? Yeah,
and I think it's where we'll sort of see any worries about our squad depth as well sort of rear their head. I think we've had a lot of injuries obviously in the last sort of recent weeks and months, and hopefully we've got them players coming back now, and you know, with a bit of luck we'll keep them fit. But I think the one thing you can take away from that sort of run is that, you know, there's no real tough games in there. There's Chelsea at home, Everton at home, which we all know is not the toughest game for us in recent times.
Good needle. I'm enjoying that you're just writing Chelsea off as well, mate. I'm enjoying that. That's how we should feel, isn't it? I mean, look at that. I mean, what have we got to fear? You know, the Reds have started to play well. The Reds are scoring goals. There's lots and lots of players who can damage football teams in our squad. So let's go into a positive and let's think about what we can do. Me personally, I'm looking forward hugely to the Seville game, because we're going. We're flying over there direct from John Lennon Airport with Blue Air. We're doing the day trip there and back. And you can come and join us if you want, if you're still looking for a way to get there. Seats still available for that one on blueairweb.com. We'll be doing loads of content out there. We'll be sort of documenting our day. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a laugh. Should be a good trip, and hopefully good weather as well. Still at this time of year, get away from all this grim wind and rain, etc. that we're experiencing here. Okay, next thing then is that we spoke to Amanda Jacks this week, who helps out football supporters when they're in a little bit of trouble with the police, with stewards, whatever it may be, stuff around football matches. Lovely woman, great work. We had a chat with her, and here she is. Okay, I'm with Amanda Jacks. Amanda, if you could tell us a little bit about what you do for the Football Supporters Federation.
I'm the caseworker for the Football Supporters Federation, which means I'm the first port of call for supporters who might have found themselves arrested or who have reason to complain about policing or stewarding. And aside from that, I will work with the police and various authorities to improve your whole so-called matchday experience.
And the reason we got Amanda in this week, we've had her on the shows before on the podcast, is a couple of reasons really. First off, it was to talk about stewarding around football matches, because we've done a series of podcasts now. One with Chief Superintendent Owen West, one with Clifford Stott, who's an academic who who studies crowds and police behaviour and all the rest of it. They went down really well, and Amanda's sort of the third of the trilogy really. Wanted to talk more around stewarding at games, but also why Amanda was in, coincidentally almost, there was a programme this week on Channel 4 on Monday, Dispatches, looking at Trouble on the Trains it was called, but it was heavily focused, completely focused in fact, on football fans' behaviour, and this to me has raised the issue again as to why does football always get the kicking over any other sport?
With regard to the Dispatches programme, I think if you're a cynic, you could view that programme as British Transport Police saying to the football clubs, give us more money to police the railways, police football on the railways. But when you say police football, what does that actually mean? It means policing the very small number of fans out of the millions of football-related journeys each season who do unfortunately behave like dickheads.
Yeah. And it is a small number, and that's the important thing to say. And I think I'm writing something, hopefully be up this week on a website somewhere, but also the show we've done with Amanda, we've already recorded, it'll be out soon on the Anfield Wrap, but it's well worth a listen, as all of those three are, because if you're a football fan and you're going home and away, you'll know yourself that you're treated in a certain way at times, you're talked to in a certain way at times, and there's a bit of a movement developing. Amanda's part of it, there's other people involved as well. There's fans themselves starting to report things. We don't need to tolerate this. It's not the 1980s, it's 2017. It was an interesting show, so look out for it when it comes out on the Anfield Wrap. So thanks to Amanda for coming into Liverpool to see us and have a chat about that. It's a really interesting podcast. It'll be out on Monday, and that is the third in the series of podcasts about how football fans are perceived and treated really by wider society. We also did one with Chief Superintendent Owen West and Clifford Stott, who's an academic who studied crowds and policing. All really interesting stuff, and all free as well, by the way, those three, because we thought they were important podcasts. So share them with your mates, pass them on. It doesn't really matter who you support on these ones. You don't have to be a Liverpool fan. It's about how you're treated as a football fan. I've also wrote something this week on the subject for my Unibet column. So if you are interested in that, look out for that one. I'll be tweeting about it on my personal account at @RobOHeighton. So look out for that. Give it a read and tell me what you think. But the international break then, as we said before, a bit boring. You can end up getting dragged to Boots with the missus and early Christmas shopping and stuff like this. Nah. So if I don't want to do that, Josh, save me, mate. Is there any footy or anything?
Yeah, well, in terms of local games on Merseyside, Tranmere Rovers are playing Dagenham and Redbridge at Prenton Park. Prescott Cable as well, who I know you like to go and see often, playing Scarborough Athletic, and there'll be many games up and down the country, so if you do have a local team and you know they are, get down and support them, because I'm sure all these teams will be grateful for it.
Yeah. Alright, the next thing then is, you might have been wondering all this time while you've been watching this, why was that fella dressed up as Father Christmas at the very start? Well, it's not because I'm a bit weird and I just fancied it. It is because we are running the Liverpool Santa Dash, which is 5k around the city centre. I think that's about 3.1 miles in old money if you're an old bastard like myself. But the idea is that we all run around, we all dress up like that, we all, you know, make a bit of a show of ourselves, but also very seriously we're raising money for a good cause, which is Woodlands Hospice, based in Liverpool. They help people basically who are sort of dying from cancer and other life-limiting illnesses. They make sure they're comfortable. They help the families as well at what is obviously a very trying time. So yeah, great cause, and already we've drummed up around £1,000, which I'm absolutely delighted with. We all are. We'd love it if you could donate too, if you can spare any cash. It doesn't have to be huge amounts. There'll be something on the screen which will tell you the address you need to go to if you would like to do that. We'll also put it in the description as well, so if you can spare any money, please do. We'd love to raise as much money as possible for Woodlands Hospice. What else was there? Oh, I know. We were going to tell you about, if you're bored, if you don't want to go out to the match, if you want to hide away in your house and get away from that moody weather, is there anything decent to listen to, Josh?
Yeah, there is. Obviously, there's not much going on in the Liverpool world this week, but Gareth actually went down to Irby, was it, I think?
Yeah, over the water on the Whittle.
And he spoke to a very interesting fella called Jimmy Rolfe, who was an outside right for Liverpool back in the day, and he played with Billy Liddell, so there's some really interesting stories there. And also, I spoke to Kenny Saunders, who runs the Save Grassroots football campaign, and we had a really interesting chat about the death of grassroots football, really, and that was dead good. So yeah, listen out for both of them.
That has been the wrap-up. Up the Reds.